Hello everyone, I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves mentally. My name is Angel Padilla. It's nice to meet you all and welcome to my film project. In this film project, we will be discussing the topic as to why student mental health is essential in this current educational transition that I'm in. Being that I am a rising senior and my major is emerging media technology, I figured that I incorporate my passions and creatively expressing myself whilst incorporating an altruistic message. So the whole topic of this film is going to be a PSA essentially as to why you, along with so many people on this planet, aren't alone in the adversity that they face. So to start off, considering that I myself am a rising senior at the New York City College of Technology, I think breaking down stress in a multitude of ways can foster very healthy discussion. And I figured that incorporating my own perspectives as to how I deal with stress can ultimately make for a very emphasizing argument. So to start off, considering that I was a freshman at around 2020 when the pandemic started, a lot of my stress did occur strictly based on the anxiety that I had and trying to meet up with the expectations that a student at college should have. So, for example, turning in assignments on time, wanting to get a good grade, always being attentive in class. Things like that have ultimately resulted into me having horrible sleep patterns, constant anxiety, constant fear of missing out, and it led to a lot of stress in my life. And I want to platform these thoughts because I believe that so many other college students have gone through the same adversity that I have too. And I think it's important to platform these thoughts and discuss about them because me being a part of the class of 2024, I think I can speak for everyone when I say that the transition of going from online classes to in person was relatively challenging. Now, granted, networking does exist, and I have created several WhatsApp chats with fellow classmates, from Zoom and Collaborate Ultra whenever we needed to help each other on a certain project or assignment. But I speak along with so many of my other students within the class of 2024 when I say that I feel like we've all relatively carried that feeling of being lonely and having anxiety in a way. Because I've talked with some of the friends that I have created, and we've all reflected on our thoughts regarding the pandemic, and we've all felt the same level of adversity. And some of the conversations that I've even had with my friends, they've often said that a lot of their stress stemmed from that event, and then carrying that stress into campus, you know what I mean, and still thinking about what we had to do. And I honestly found that process to be very fascinating, and it made me feel very comforted because I didn't think that I was alone in what I was facing. And I think that it's very important to platform thoughts like this. And that made me feel a lot better, because the more I started to open up about my adversity as a college student, the more of my insecurities of wanting to meet these incredible, false expectations as a perfect student, because realistically, nobody is really perfect. So to feel more alive and to feel more in tune post pandemic, it made for a really healthy and engaging and overall fun college experience for me on my final 2 years here as a junior, now transitioning into a rising senior. And I wanted to further reiterate this claim before breaking down my solutions of what I think are great de-stressing methods for me personally. I just wanted to take a moment to say that as long as you keep telling yourself positive things, that reality that you want is something that you will eventually achieve as long as you incorporate persistence. And everything is going to be fine. And with that being said, I would love to break down my own personal solutions of what I often do in order to de-stress. And I hope that these solutions can be able to help you out in whatever adversity that you may be facing. So the first solution that I would definitely tell you guys to do is to always collect things that you are passionate about in a physical medium. So for example, for me, it's always going to be music. As you can see from this background here, I love to collect vinyls because music has always been a passion of mine, and considering that that's my concentration in emerging media technology, I always love to view the fabrication of a song or just the musicality and instrumentation as to how a song can be created. So speaking on the concept of music, I would definitely say that one of my favorite things to do is to stream ambient or meditative music. For example, there's this page that I often like to go to on Spotify, or if you have Apple Music or YouTube Music or practically any streaming service. I would recommend going to this page known as Miracle Tones. Now, Miracle Tones essentially deals with different frequencies that can be able to put you in a very calm and meditative state. And that's something that has been helping me all throughout my 4 years at City Tech. So what I did during the pandemic was pick up that skill of meditation, and it's pretty much put me in a very calm state where I can be able to view things in a more holistic way and sort of think about the blueprint as to how a solution can be created towards an issue. And my ways of handling stress in general, because of meditative music and picking up breathing exercises, has really done wonders for my mental health. So what I usually like to do, for example, is play a song from this page like this. And I like to do a slow breathing exercise where I essentially inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And usually repeating that cycle 5 times, pretty much. And especially during stressful days, I would like to also like amplify it to like 10 or maybe even 15. It has pretty much given my mind so much peace and clarity, and I feel like I've been able to solve problems in a more efficient way because of that. So now that we're on the topic as to how physical media can essentially help you, I also wanted to talk about literature. That's always been another passion of mine, and I'm pretty sure it has been for several other students who exceed in their writing intensive courses like I have. Writing has always been a really powerful art form for me, and it's always been a way to help balance my thoughts in a creative way and in a more efficient way. So for example, what I usually like to do is take a pen and a notepad for anybody that's passionate at writing as I am. So what I like to do is I essentially like to write some of my thoughts out if I'm ever having a stressful day. I also use this method because it's helped me a lot. So, just for the sake of the film, I could write something like, I am feeling stressed and that's okay. So I wrote it here. What I usually like to do is, if this is a single thought in mind, what I like to do is just open the page like this, right? I read it out loud, and then I crumple it in a ball, and then I just throw it out like that. Furthermore, I just wanted to mainly emphasize the fact that writing has been a great tool for me in order to cultivate an idea through something that's known as the creative process, which I'm pretty sure is a prevalent thing amongst people that are in my entertainment technology field. And what I usually like to do in the midst of a creative process is, if I ever have an idea and if it's overlapped by way too many ideas, writing has always been a great tool for me to essentially organize those thoughts. So for instance, there was one time where I was doing a coding project, and being that that's not necessarily my strong suit, a lot of positive comments that were written by students was something that I mainly kept throughout my day, and I would often just look at those comments again and reassure myself that I'm on the right track and that my pacing is good, and I think the idea is eventually going to turn out great. And I think that that's a great thing for professors and educators to like to do, is to essentially cultivate an environment where different students can complement each other based on the creative process in order to reassure them that everything is going to be fine. So when I usually used to read those comments, it would make me stop overthinking. And I carried that same type of concept of giving a compliment or, essentially hyping up my peers as a way to further relax them for all the stress that they put themselves through, which is pretty relatable in my opinion. I also wanted to further elaborate how, physical media has helped my life as, aforementioned. So for example, what you see here, this background, I like to collect vinyls and I also like to collect books. This one, for example, is a book called Wonder by R.J. Palacio, and this has been a childhood favorite of mine. And this is something that I usually tend to read because I love it for its pacing and its good characters, and it also further emphasizes an environment within the education system where everyone can be, perceived as different, and how you would treat someone if they were seen as, conventionally different. And that message has always resonated with me a lot, and I always, my goal of mine is to essentially create something as powerful of a message as Wonder has for me in my life. So overall, I really think that, writing and literature and finding different forms of creative escapism can be various de-stressing methods. And I love seeing people essentially open up to me as to what their favorite piece of art is, and that has always created wonderful conversations throughout City Tech, and that is something that I've overall really enjoyed about my experience here as a student.
So now that we have broken down several solutions as to how de-stressing can potentially help you, I would now like to break down my personal favorite solution, which is going out for walks. So since I live in Lower Manhattan, what I usually like to do during warm weather is to go out for walks, at least a half an hour to an hour, sometimes even 2 hours, and I like to go explore the sights around the city.
So to wrap up this video, I just want to take a moment to say that it is okay to not be okay, because you, the viewer, are going through what millions around the world are going through. I hope that this video can not only provide a safe space for you guys out there who are struggling with stress, but I am confident enough to say that this film project can be able to foster better mental health discussion. Because I believe that my voice is my currency, and I believe that your voice is your currency. And together we can very much acknowledge this adversity that has constantly been overshadowed for so long. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.